Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is part 3 of the Fashionably Functional Sustainability Initiative to reduce textile waste in the Gulf by providing at-home, accessible sewing solutions. Today we will be transforming this old, oversized pair of jeans into this super cute purse. Remember to do the survey linked at the end of the video or down below so that I can receive your feedback and you can get entry into an HEB gift card giveaway. Now we can start the purse. I'm going to start by making a 3/4 of an inch cut across the jeans so that when I do the 1/4 inch seam allowance, there's a 1/2 inch left. Since there's a little bit of bulging in this area, I'm just going to seam rip this and then lay it flat. And then sew on this angle. Now that that's fixed, I'm going to flip this inside out. And then remark the seam allowance, and then we can sew across that line. Now to make the bag a little bit more curved, I'm pretty much just going to follow the guidance of these pockets. To clean up the inside of this purse and cover up this hole, I have this thrifted dress that I'm going to trace to the shape of the purse and use as lining. After I cut out and sewed the lining, I put the purse inside out inside the lining so that the inside of the lining and the inside of the purse are facing each other, and then I sewed around the waistband. The dress I got the lining from had a pocket, so I incorporated that into the purse so that there would be a hidden pocket on the inside. To make the straps, I'm using the straight edge of the pants that we cut off earlier and cutting 1 3/4 inches across, leaving room for seam allowance. Since this end of the strap will only flat, I'm just going to cut it off and then sew along this line from the edge. Sew one end shut to use as an anchor for when you turn the strap inside out. I recommend using a long tool that has a rounded point. After turning it right side out, I ladder stitched the other end and then repeated it for a second one. To attach the straps, hand one side facing flat, and then when you bring the other side over, have it be on the edge so that when you put it flat on the other side, it'll be in the correct position. To attach the straps, I'm going to do a ladder stitch along the ends. I ended up doing a ladder stitch on the bottom and top of the waistband so that the straps would be better secured. Now that the straps are attached, the bag is complete. You can stop here, or you can choose to decorate the bag, which is what I will be doing. To cover up the straps, I'm going to use this strip piece of fabric from the dress and put it through the waistband. Now that that's pulled through, I'm going to make a bow. I like the way that that looks, so now I'm going to cut the ends to make them even and sew them at a diagonal line. Now that the bow is complete, I'm going to do embroidery flowers along the pockets. Since I don't have embroidery thread, I'm going to quadruple the length of the normal thread so that it can be as thick as embroidery thread. To do that, I'm going to take this one piece of thread, put the two ends together, and then instead of inserting one end into the eye of the needle, I'm going to do this folded part. And then tie as usual, but don't tie at the ends. Now I'm going to make a knot in the purse by putting the needle through and then stopping when there's a little bit of thread left. Go in again and then wrap around. Now to do the middle of the flower, I'm simply going to go in through the back side of the purse and then go across the desired length. And tie it off. Then you just do the same thing but for the petals around the middle. Now I'm going to do a 5-petal flower where all the petals meet in the middle. After alternating some of the petal colors, this is what the final embroidery design looks like. Now for a final design element, I am going to do a patch on this pocket. For the patch, I'm going to take some leftover fabric from the dress and from this old pillowcase and shape them into hearts. I have my design laid out, so now I'm going to blanket stitch them together. In order to do a blanket stitch, you want to make sure that the ends of your thread are tied, and then you go in through the top layer and tuck away the excess thread behind the knot, and then you go over this top layer, making sure that when you go over, you go through the back layer. Then go a stitch length across. And loop the needle through again. And then repeat for the rest of the border. Now that the patch is added, the bag is officially complete. Feel free to include as many or as little designs as you like. Thank you for watching. Bye!